Hi, Dave Roscoe here. It is Wednesday, April 23rd, 2025. And today I want to talk about noise and narratives and spin control. And I also want to talk about the to the moon meme. So there won't be much to talk about today. These are the things I want to discuss. But first, let's take a look at the metrics. The circulating supply is at 6.94 billion pi, with 6 million pi migrated in the last 24 hours. Now, that's a far cry from the 20 million that was migrated in the previous 24 hours. We can't have everything, I guess. And that represents 26,700 user accounts. And there have been no migrations yet today. Normally, they pick up around noontime, 1 o'clock Eastern time, but nothing yet today, and I'll keep an eye out on that. There is 15 million pi in the migration wallet, so there's room for improvement here. The migrated unlocked rewards is at 1.79 billion, with 5.2 million unlocked pi free to be traded on the open markets today. Looking at the price action, the Pi coin is currently trading at 66 cents, which is up 3.12% from this time 24 hours ago, with a market cap of $4.58 billion and a daily trading volume of $156.4 million, which is up 114%. That's good. I like to see that. It's not crazy volume. It's definitely better than it was. My channel is currently at 85,000 subscribers, and last week we broke the 8,000 mark. Thank you very much for those of you who have subscribed in the last week. I'm sure I lost a few along the way. It can't be helped. But if you're not subscribed, but you like what I'm doing, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss an update. Help me get to 10,000 subscribers sometime in May. I'm also on X, so if you want to check out what I'm posting there, you feel free to follow me. I don't post a lot there because I'm relatively new to X. I'm not much of a social media guy, so I'm still kind of feeling my way through this, and I don't know how far down that rabbit hole I want to go. I am going to use X for crypto talk as well as my channel here. I'm also on Instagram and TikTok, but I don't use that for crypto. So if you find me on there and you try to reach out, I'm not going to engage with you. I'm not trying to be mean. I just have to maintain some kind of separation. So let's talk about noise and narratives and spin control. There's a lot of information out there. You look on X, you look on Google, and you look on whatever your news source is, and you'll see people talking that Pi is going through the roof and all these things are happening, all these D-apps and partnerships and everything. And then you'll see things like Pi is a scam, and the Pi core team's making billions, and the pioneers are making nothing, and all of that. It runs the gambit in between. This all caters to specific audiences. The news that's out there isn't wrong. It's just being spun in ways that make it look appealing to certain audiences. I want to show you something that I found to prove my point. This is a Crypto Times article from 22 hours ago, and the headline reads, Pi coin eyes 50% rally as Pi Network explains tokenomics. It's written by Jalpa Bhavsvar and Janu Jagtap, who's the reviewer. This is quite a positive article, and it's in response to the blog post that the Pi core team put out recently, explaining their tokenomics and then how the price action indicates that we're going to see a 50% rise. Again, overall, very positive article. In 22 hours, not much has changed, and we see this article. Pi token crashes, but founders may be crypto billionaires. You can tell from the title, this one's not going to be as positive. And it goes on to talk about how pioneers can't access their Pi, but the Pi core team is somehow crypto billionaires because they got 20% of $100 billion. Now, the interesting part about this is the authors and the reviewer are exactly the same people that published the other article. The previous article, which was much more positive, includes the tokenomics, which would refute this article in that the Pi core team does not have access to 20% of 100 billion pi, because that same tokenomics says that it unlocks in line with the migrations. As you can see, spin control is real. There's news that's being put out to cater to the naysayers and the cheerleaders in equal measure. I don't consider myself a cheerleader. I consider myself a believer in the Pi network. I believe in what they're doing. And for the most part, I believe in how they're doing it. I think it's very smart. A lot of people would disagree, but that's okay. But I'm not a cheerleader. I don't buy into this GCV. I don't buy into all of these clickbaity articles that say Pi is going to go to $100 in 6 months or 6 days or 6 minutes. I don't buy into these unsubstantiated posts that say D-apps are coming or this integration is coming. It's all unsubstantiated. I'll include it in the rumor mill if I think it's not too far-fetched and at least looks credible. Because a lot of times I just know it's not credible and I skip it. So you won't see me doing a lot of that. I certainly won't bash Pi because most of the negative info out there is misleading. And the negative sentiment that does exist is often overblown, just as the positive sentiment is overblown. So I don't deal with that. I just try to keep it as middle ground as possible without going too far to the left or right. Which brings me to my topic of to the moon. This is a popular meme for crypto. I remember I had family members who were into Dogecoin, and every other post every day was Doge to the moon, Doge to the moon, Doge to the moon. And I'm looking at the price and it's like, it's 23 cents. Must be a low moon. Pi coin's kind of in the same boat, if you think about it in terms of price. At the end of every video, I say Pi to the moon. And what am I talking about? I'm not talking about price. I'm talking about the success of the Pi network. I expect the Pi network and the Pi core team to be astronomically successful. So when I say to the moon, I'm talking about the success of the project. And yes, the price will follow this success. What that looks like, I have no idea. I do expect this project to ultimately be wildly successful. So when I say to the moon, that's what I'm talking about. Well, that's all I've got for today. It's been a slow news day, and I just wanted to talk about a few things. But you can be sure that if anything else pops up, I'll be right back on here to let you all know. But until then, don't panic, stay the course, and remember, the success of the Pi network begins with you. Pi to the moon. Peace.